Right, so I went over how to get the blood from the cow and put it into the vial. This is the last part of it. This is filling out the paperwork. This worksheet is actually from my vet. I don't know how other people, what they use. You see, it just says this is at the top of it. It's got the vet, his address and stuff. This upper part here is for their use, their phone number, and their email address. And then here I fill out my farm name, my name and address, my phone number and email. And then here it just shows you how to label your tubes. Like I said, I showed you the one where I laid a number 2, and then I put JC here for Jersey cow. And they say 2 cc's or more of whole blood. I use a 3 cc syringe, so that's just what I give them. And here, what it's just wants to know, how do you want your test results? They can fax them, email them, phone them, or mail them to you. And I just always choose email. Usually if they get my results on a Wednesday, they'll do the tests on a Thursday, and by Thursday evening I've got the results. You put your amount that you're paying, or if you're going to bill it to the vet or the owner, and the billing email. I always just pay for mine at the time of it. It says use UPS or FedEx for best results. I use FedEx a good bit, and I have used United States Postal Service, and I've had fairly decent results with them. You just want to make sure you get it to the vet in a timely manner. Here we have the tests available and the prices. And for the cattle, you have this is the pregnancy test, $250. The BVD test, which is $475. You have a sheep or a goat pregnancy test, which is $650, and a CAE test for goats, which is $5. Here you just check all that apply: beef, dairy, sheep, goat, BVD or CAE. Here I'll be doing beef and dairy. I don't think it makes a difference in the test results. I think it's just for their data, to keep up with how many beef producers, how many dairy producers, how many sheep and goat producers are using this test. Pretty sure it doesn't, except for the sheep and goat. It may make a difference in the pregnancy test there. But like I said, I think this is just for their information. So you check what you're sending, and if you want to add a test, BVD or CAE. Then here you put the date that it's sampled, which is the date you drew the blood, the date you sent the blood, and your total number of samples. Here you have a couple columns here, and this first column is the tube number, 1, 2, 3. There's actually 2 pages. This one goes to 20, and then there's another page that prints off. I think it goes to maybe 100 or so. So anyway, you just number it 1, 2, 3, whatever. The one I showed you, I would have numbered it tube number 2. So out beside of it, I'd put animal ID, which would have been JC for Jersey cow. Days bred, I put 32. And test added, I am going to put BVD. And then I go on to the next line. And actually, I ended up drawing blood on 2 other cows. My friend of mine, my neighbor, bought a cow that he thought was pregnant, and it's about time for her to calve, and she's not showing any signs. So we're going to draw blood on her and add it to this test. And then I've got another cow that I'm keeping at a friend of mine's. I'm going to go get her, bring her over, draw blood on her, and I'll keep her here until I get the results back, just to make sure she's still pregnant. If she's not, I've already had her checked once, and she was pregnant at 32 days. So I'm going to check her now at about 4 months. make sure she's still pregnant. If she's not, then I'll go ahead and set her up and synchronize her with another group of cows that I'm going to breed. Get her bred back, and then I'll take her. Unless she comes back pregnant, and then once I get the results, I'll take her back over to the other pasture. All right, so it's 4 days later. It's Thursday evening. Um, I sent the uh, blood vials off on Monday. I checked my email this morning, and I did. I've already gotten email back with the results of the test. Uh, I haven't opened it yet. I just figured I'd wait till I got home this evening so I could video it. Um, so let's just go ahead and open it and see what happens. Uh, it, yep. It looks like there is one cow that's open. That's kind of what I thought was going to happen. The other three are bred. Just give me a second here, and I'm going to print this off so it'll be a little easier to read. Yeah, I think this will be a little easier than looking on my phone. Um, the test results are pretty straightforward. They're easy to interpret. Uh, it's either pregnant or not pregnant. You got your tube number on the left, animal ID in the middle, response to the test over here on the right. Up here in the left corner is where it was saying 25% open. An open is 0.135 and below. Recheck, which there's a 0% recheck. The reason being that all these results are, well within the ranges of open or pregnant. They're not borderline, which would be 1.35 to 0.21, and pregnant would be 0.21 and above. So this is just the tube numbers. I showed you that, how you number the tubes, and then you give them an ID. I don't use ear tag numbers, just because I don't have a lot. I have ear tags, and the cows are numbered. I just don't use that for ID here. I just don't have a lot of cows, and I use something that is logical to me, so I know which one I'm talking about. This is the HH is Holstein heifer. She's the solid black Holstein Angus cross. JC would be the Jersey cow. MC is Mark's cow, and Mark is my neighbor. And BC is black cow. That's the older black cow that I already checked pregnant. So here's the results. The Holstein heifer is 0.544. The Jersey cow is 0.565. Mark's cow is 0.066. And the black cow is 0.585. If you notice, I guess these are kind of close together, but it seems like the further along they are, the higher that number gets. And here's the result. It's just saying pregnant, 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 and then the one open cow. And here, of course, is the days post-breeding. These two were AI'd on the same day. My neighbor's cow, we just sort of estimated her at about 7 months. She should have been more than that, probably about 8 months. And the black cow was about 4 months. Anyway, I just thought I'd share this with y'all. So I really like using these BioPRYN tests. It works out good for me. I don't have that many cows, and I want to check some of the cows more than once. I'll check them really early, at like 28 to 30 days, just because I use artificial insemination, and I want to catch them as soon as possible so I can get them rebred if I need to. And then I'll check them again at 4 months, 5 months, whatever, just to make sure they're still pregnant. And I don't have to haul them back and forth to the vet every time, or have the vet come out and pay a farm call. Uh, like I said, it just seems to work out better for me. Also, the tests are pretty accurate. You can see it says it's 99.9% accurate for open cows and 95% for pregnant cows. And the reason this is because there's a pregnancy specific protein that is still in the cow system for up to a month and a half, even 2 months after she calves. They tell you to wait at least 60 days, I believe, before using this test. I had a cow that bred back 30 days after she calved, and I waited 30 more days and drew blood, which would have put her at 60 days postpartum and supposedly 30 days pregnant, and it showed up as pregnant when in actuality she wasn't pregnant. It was just picking up the protein from her previous pregnancy. If I would have waited about another 3 weeks, it would have probably showed up as her being open or borderline for a recheck. That's the only problem I've ever had, and they specifically tell you to wait. I think it's 60 to 65 days postpartum to use this test.